Why do we cheat? It's a question that taps into some of our deepest emotions and behaviors. You might think cheating happens because people are selfish or morally flawed, but the reality is far more complex and surprising. Science reveals that infidelity often stems from unaddressed emotional needs, unmet desires, or even evolutionary instincts wired into our brains. Cheating isn't just about lust or opportunity, it's tied to biology, psychology, and cultural expectations. By understanding this, we uncover the real drivers behind why people stray. Evolutionary reason for betrayal. Betrayal at its core stems from deeply ingrained survival instincts. Evolutionary psychology suggests that men and women evolved different strategies for reproductive success, which may sometimes involve betrayal. For men, spreading their genes by seeking multiple partners could increase reproductive chances, an instinctual drive still present today. On the flip side, women might have betrayed to secure a stronger partner, improving their offspring's survival by choosing a mate who could provide better resources or protection. Neuroscientifically, the brain's reward system, particularly the release of dopamine during novel experiences, plays a role in understanding why people cheat. Betraying a partner might stimulate a temporary sense of reward, even though the long-term consequences can be disastrous. It's the brain's way of seeking pleasure, though the emotional damage it leaves behind is often far greater. This evolutionary backdrop provides insight into why betrayal persists across cultures and time. Different types of betrayal. Betrayal can manifest in numerous ways, not just in romantic relationships. Emotional betrayals, like a friend breaking your trust, can be just as painful as infidelity. Financial betrayal, such as being deceived by a business partner, also disrupts the foundation of trust in professional environments. Each type of betrayal carries unique emotional burdens, but all share a common thread: the feeling of vulnerability and loss. The brain's response to betrayal often activates regions linked to pain, much like a physical injury. In friendships, for example, emotional betrayal can trigger the amygdala, which processes emotions such as fear and sadness. This neurological reaction underscores why betrayal in any context feels so deeply personal, breaking not just bonds but also a sense of security. Infidelity statistics. Surveys reveal that around 12% of men and 7% of women admit to sexual infidelity. However, when other forms of betrayal are included, such as emotional or financial cheating, the numbers soar to nearly 50%. These figures highlight how betrayal, in its various forms, is more common than we might think. The desire for novelty and excitement, which activates dopamine in the brain, can explain some of these behaviors. Neuroscientifically, the brain processes both physical and emotional betrayal similarly, with infidelity triggering the same areas that respond to loss and rejection. Understanding these statistics helps us see that cheating isn't just about physical acts, but often stems from unmet emotional needs and desires for validation. Emotional impact. Betrayal leaves deep emotional scars, often leading to trauma, trust issues, and even PTSD. For the betrayed, it can feel like the ground has been pulled out from under them, triggering a cascade of negative emotions. This type of pain isn't just emotional. Brain scans show that the same areas activated by physical pain light up during emotional betrayal. The impact can be long-lasting, leading to a cycle of fear and insecurity. On the other hand, the cheater may experience a different kind of emotional turmoil. Neuroscience shows that guilt and shame can activate the prefrontal cortex, responsible for moral judgment and decision-making. The emotional weight carried by both parties often reshapes their future relationships, sometimes reinforcing a pattern of distrust or avoidance. Betrayal in religion. Betrayal has been a recurring theme in religious teachings throughout history. In Christianity, for instance, betrayal is referenced in 2 of the 10 Commandments, showing its moral gravity. Infidelity and broken trust are seen as sin that not only hurt individuals but also disrupt the divine order. These religious stories, like Judas's betrayal of Jesus, are powerful reminders of the consequences tied to treachery. Neuroscientifically, religious betrayal can heighten emotional pain because it often involves deeper existential beliefs. The brain's limbic system, which processes both emotional pain and moral judgment, reacts strongly in situations where betrayal clashes with one's core spiritual values. Betrayal as a coping mechanism. Sometimes, betrayal isn't just about deception, it's a form of emotional escape. For many, cheating becomes a coping mechanism for dealing with dissatisfaction, stress, or unmet emotional needs in a relationship. The cheater may rationalize their actions as a way to regain control or seek validation. This behavior, while destructive, often masks deeper insecurities and unresolved personal issues. From a psychological perspective, the brain may use betrayal as a quick fix to regulate emotions. By seeking novelty, the brain releases dopamine, momentarily easing negative feelings, but the long-term consequences often lead to greater emotional pain for all involved. Societal views on betrayal. Modern society often stigmatizes those who choose to stay with a partner after betrayal. The pressure to leave can be overwhelming, as social norms suggest that moving on is the healthiest option. Yet, many choose to work through betrayal, finding personal reasons to reconcile. This decision can lead to judgment from others, making the recovery process even more complicated. From a psychological standpoint, the brain grapples with conflicting emotions. Oxytocin, the hormone associated with bonding, may still drive attachment, even after trust has been broken. This can create inner conflict as people struggle to balance societal expectations with their emotional needs. Cultural differences. In some conservative cultures, betrayal is not just a personal failing, it's a crime. Acts of infidelity may result in extreme punishments, including imprisonment or even death. These harsh penalties reflect the cultural emphasis on honor and familial reputation. In contrast, in more liberal societies, betrayal is treated as a personal issue, though the stigma can still be significant, affecting one's social standing. Cultural variations in how betrayal is perceived often shape individuals' responses. Neuroscientifically, the brain's fear centers are more active in cultures with severe consequences, heightening anxiety and shame in those who cheat. Psychological effects on betrayed and betrayer. The psychological toll of betrayal is immense for both parties. The betrayed often experiences a crisis of self-worth, questioning their value and ability to trust others. This emotional pain can manifest in anxiety, depression, and even PTSD. Neuroscientifically, the brain's emotional centers, such as the amygdala, become hyperactive, intensifying feelings of rejection and fear. For the betrayer, guilt and shame can dominate their emotional landscape. The brain's prefrontal cortex, responsible for moral reasoning, is highly engaged as they wrestle with the ethical implications of their actions, often leading to deep remorse. Historical context of betrayal. Historically, betrayal in marriage was viewed through an economic lens, particularly in patriarchal societies, where marriage served as a contract for property and inheritance. Infidelity was considered a threat to family lineage and wealth, making it more about safeguarding resources than emotions. The betrayal of a spouse could disrupt these carefully constructed economic ties, leading to social and legal repercussions. Psychologically, the shift from marriage as a contract to a relationship based on love has changed how betrayal is perceived. However, remnants of this history still influence modern views on fidelity, especially in terms of social status and financial security. Now that you understand the deep psychological, evolutionary, and cultural reasons behind betrayal, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue to view infidelity as purely a moral failure, or will you explore its roots and how it shapes human behavior? The power to change your perspective lies with you. How will you use this insight to better navigate your relationships, both with others and yourself? Don't forget, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to keep diving deeper into these fascinating topics.